This is an SM Media production.
Hi, folks, and welcome to the latest episode of SM Media's Road to Cheltenham 2024, the final episode before the festival itself. I'm Scott McPike. It's a pleasure, as always, to be your host, and it is a pleasure to be joined by Calum McClurkin of the Scottish Daily Mail. Calum, to quote Leona Lewis, we have one more sleep.
Yes, it's one of the best weeks in sport for me anyway. Cheltenham Festival, yeah, there's a lot of people knocking it, and value wise and maybe fuel wise. I mean, today's decks for Wednesday. I mean, I think Dory the Great's getting in the Coral Cup. It's not been maxed out, so
Mm.
I think there's the horse that's rated 117 that's in. Um, so yeah, it's quite a surprise that the handicaps are maybe not quite filling out, even though the entry stage they look like they would be. So I mean that's going to adjust people's thinking as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, well, the plan is here we're going to preview all 28 races, Callum. In terms of your kind of weekend and kind of confidence going into the festival, is that from a punting perspective? Before we get into talk about the races, where do you think you're kind of sitting at, good or bad?
Bad. I would say Sandown didn't go well
No.
Saturday. I was at Ayr on Saturday and got one at 12-1, trained by Mike Smith, and 1-2 in the bumper. Kingston James seems a very good horse, again for Lucinda Russell. Then totally bombed out in the Leinster National and had one there. So no, and last week wasn't particularly great either. So I would like to be in better form. If you're linking it with a stable, it'd probably be Nicky Henderson at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get straight into it, Callum. We'll start on Tuesday at 1:30. We have our field. It is the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Willie Mullins has the top two in the market, Tully Hill and Mystical Power. Slade Steel has been rerouted here with Ballyburn going the other way. Firefox at 9-2, Jericho Terepene 13-2, and 11-1 bar. Callum, you've been saying for a couple of weeks this isn't the strongest race. Where are you sitting at the moment with this? How are you kind of playing this at the moment?
Yeah, probably waiting for paddock to lose 2 minutes before they off. Things like that. Oh, I mean, they've obviously got faith in Tully Hill, but he started a 2 mile 6 maiden, and he's just come the last day about 3 weeks ago and won a race where he was completely gifted it from the lead. I mean, I think you'd be pretty much. I'd be against him anyway, although he does have his obvious potential. He seems to be fulfilling it. I'm leaning towards the Mystical Power camp a little bit, mainly because of a pedigree. There might be more to come. The ground is coming a little bit in his favour, I would say. It's pretty much identical to Punchestown. And I think he'll get a very good pace to that, and that'll probably settle him. And I think maybe in midfield, and he might be the one that's got a couple more gears than the rest here. Steel's only one with Grade 1 form, and if you're taking that in face value and think that none of these are particularly great, then he's probably rock solid to place Firefox as a chance if he comes back to his old form. But there is a kind of slight drift on him a little bit, and he does have to come back from being lame the last day, but he didn't look like he stayed in the laws in Ace either. So, yeah, and the rest, Jericho the referee's got a lot to find, but the yard are pretty adept at reading one for the Supreme usually, even though there's a question mark about Nicky Henderson's form coming into this a little bit. And Mr. Gift telling name, Asian Master, there will be people that will pick away these horses each way. So yeah, I think I don't think it's the strongest renewal in the world, but it's an open betting heat, and yeah, I would use your freebies wisely for the opening race if you manage to get access to them, because it's probably a useful race to kind of just have a tentative interest. It's a marathon Cheltenham, and this isn't a race that will be shaping up to have a big dive in and a strong saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of leaning that way myself. I mean, I'm sitting in Firefox at decent prices, so I'm more than happy to keep that going. And I probably wouldn't go back in. There is a wee bit of a drift, but I just think there's holes to pick on Tully Hill and Mystical Power, particularly their jumping just concerns me.
Mhm.
Tully Hill's probably going to run, and I would think. I think that's what Townend will try to do. That's what they tend to do with their kind of number one Supreme horses. Mystical Power, I think, will probably come off the pace. Slade Steel, I just don't think the trip's going to be good. They're going to be exactly what he needs. I thought he needed further. I think Jericho Derepine is creeping out to an each way price. I think he is potentially the one that we said this a few weeks ago. if there's one in the market who's got the potential to improve, is probably him. So I think he's probably a good each way bet at the moment. But again, it's down to the Henderson form. I think Mr. Jiff is the kind of profile. Kind of Mullins always seems to have one that he always seems to kind of get from the kind of back of the market. Like I think like Shane's Hill in years gone by, last year Diverge. Mr. Jiff kind of fits that profile. We had a good
Mhm.
opening race. I think I could probably play him each way, but right now I think I'll probably be place laying Slade Steel just in terms of I just don't think the trip's going to suit him, and I'll stick with Firefox. I won't go back in, but probably Firefox is probably my best winner here, and I'd probably play Jericho Derepere and Mister Jiff each way. But again, probably like you, get away to see what the clues are on the market. I don't think you're going to get anything less than 2-1 in the field,
No,
unless
absolutely
something's
not. No, you
ridiculous.
maybe even 4-1, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah, I would be leaning towards Mystical Power at that, but it's not a strong opinion.
Yeah, so we'll move into the 210, which is the Arkle Challenge Trophy. And Callum, we have a declaration of Gaelic Warrior. He has now been rerouted to the Arkle. I don't think any of us saw that coming probably 4 months ago, but he's heading towards the Arkle. He's favourite at the moment 3-1. Got Hunter's Yarn, Ali de Tomps at 11-2, Calixios 5-1 as well. Found a 50 GPR1, my mate Mozzie. Callum, if the Supreme is open, then the Arkle's probably is open as well. And it's a tough race. I think similar to Supreme, I don't think there's a standout in here.
It's very similar. Gaelic Warrior is obviously the standout horse in this, but it's all left-handed thing, and he bombed out the last day. He got worked up pretty much. But what he did to LAT Tom, the Irish Arkle winner at Limerick and Christmas, he would be, if this was at Limerick, he'd probably, I think he'd be sheeting odds on. He's that vastly superior on his best. It's all about positioning and whether they can keep him in a reasonable position that will keep him straight around here. 2 mile soft grounds that probably ideal. The turning track and left-handed nature of Cheltenham isn't, and can his class offset that? He's also got to bounce back to peak form. He's very much a Marmite horse around Cheltenham. You're either with him or not. He does have place form around there, so he can act there. But it's all about whether A, he can settle, and B, he can obtain a decent prominent position without jumping his chance away out to the right. And he's not the only one here that can jump out to the right. Found a 50 can. Colixios can. Looking at some back form of him. LAT Chomp, I mean, I think he's a horse that people find hard to warm to because he tends to turn up at Leopardstown more than he does at Cheltenham. He's not the biggest either. He lacks a bit of scope, but he's a solid one that's getting the job done at the moment. But he is taking a bit of a walk in the market, and I can kind of see why. I'm inclined to roll the dice with a little bit with Hunter's Yarn. I know he clout one, but he had tons of hand the day that he fell, and then he redeemed himself in January in Fairy House in the exact same race. Geneva won. Who then went to win the Arkle, and it feels a bit kind of like one of those years where it's open a little bit, and something with great potential from left field can come out and maybe win this, maybe win it actually quite well because he's quite tractable and run straight, and he's a bit unexposed and maybe a bit out there. So I think he's probably the interesting play around sixes, but again, I wouldn't have much confidence in it.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I kind of think my mate Mozzie is a potential player here.
Yeah.
I think depends on the ground. Obviously, that they obviously have confidence in the fact that they were favourite for the Grand Annual. They've decided to go here. GPR1, I'm sitting on anti-post. I probably wouldn't go back in. I think he might have to find a bit even with the Irish form. I think you're looking at if this was right-handed Gaelic Warrior and JPR1, it'd be no contest. It is just if Gaelic Warrior turns up and jumps, well, I think that is the kind of reason. There's 13 fences in the Arkle. There's less fences than there would be in a Turners, for example. I think they've just decided, right, there's 13 fences. Hopefully it gets at least 12 of them right. And it could probably hit the frame, but I just think it's another really, really trappy race. Sitting my JPR1 anti-post line and maybe an each way playing my mate Mozzie. I think my mate Mozzie could be potentially he's got course form, won I think it was the October meeting. That's decent. That's probably as good form as we're getting here in terms of kind of. Of course, Calexios won a triumph 3 years ago. I just worry about the top of the market. I can't have Alley de Toms. I think Founder 50's got the same issues with Gaelic Warrior. Calexios, I'm not sure. Hunter's Yarn might be, as you say, the improver, but it's probably another one I wait today. So I'll probably pay my mate Moz each way, and you are probably leaning towards Hunter's Yarn.
Yeah, I'll probably back Hunter's Yarn, but again, it could change. There's a lot here. You can practically make a claim for anything in this.
Yep, we'll move into the 250, which is the Ultimate Handicap Chase. The Irish haven't won this since 2005, but they have the top two in the betting at the moment. Meeting of the Waters for the Mullins team at 9-2, recently bought by JP McManus. The Goffer, last year's second, is 11-2. You've got the likes of Kim Bailey's got a strong hand, Chanty Classico and Trelawn, Stumptown's in there, 10-1 bar. Calum, this is quite an interesting Ultima where you've got the top two in the market and from Ireland. I think my strongest play on the Tuesday is Chanty Classical. I think he's been earmarked for this for a while. I think he's probably got the best form. I think he's only been beaten once this year, and it was against an Ascot specialist. I think at 13-2, Kim Bailey knows how to map one towards this race. David Bass has chosen him. I think he's potentially the one to beat here. I also think, I know his form isn't the best this season, but we've all been caught. If they can get him, he's in off a fairly decent weight. He's only in off 134. They've put a tongue strap on him. If he can get anywhere near the frame, he's running off a decent weight. Where do you kind of lean in the Ultima?
Yeah, I'm not really out the top of the market. I think Stumptown's the most interesting this ground. Come back, blinkers on. It's going to be soft ground. You need to go back to novice hurling days for Chianti Classico to run soft.
Yeah.
I prefer Trelawn slightly more to Chianti Classico at the Bailey pair. The Goffer, is he going to stay again? If it was good ground, I think a lot of people would be all over him. You just kind of wonder, is he going to kind of see a couple too strong again and Meet the Waters up massively? And I mean, he's been one of the hype horse in the previous circuit, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But he's up in the weights, conceded the last day. I think we've probably seen enough of him to justify him being favourite here. So given the ground, I was beginning to lean towards Stumptown. Although he's probably got enough weight. We've all been caught. Needs 5 miles, in my opinion. Monbeg Genius ran very poorly at Kelso the last day. I don't think John O'Neill's are in great form. I can see Eldorado maybe running well at a big price. The Tizards can map one out for this, and they were coming back into a little bit of form in the summer. So if GPR1 ran encouragingly, then that might be a boost for that. Twig's a good horse. It can run well at 20s. Manila Cruno gets his ground, but he doesn't seem to act here particularly well. And it's interesting they've gone with Eclat de Rear, Henry de Bromheads rather than Am I Right? They're probably waiting for maybe better ground drying out in the day on Thursday for the Kim Muir. And I think the others are probably clutching at straws a little bit. They're quite exposed at the back of the market. At the moment, Stumptown and Eldorado Allen is tentative each week plays again, but again, it wouldn't be much confidence. Maybe Trelawn as well, but I mean, those are the three that would be on my shortlist at the moment.
Brilliant. So we'll move into the 330, the championship race, which is the champion hurdle. State Man is 1-3 to win the race. Irish Point has been declared at 11-2. You've got Iberico Lord, Zaret the Brave, Lucia, Neiman Lion. Callum, the State Man win, and is there a bet in the race?
Yes, and then probably no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think State Man will win. I'm a bit worried about him, though, of course, though. I mean, I do think there'll be a couple of moments that might be a bit hairy. Iberico Lord's supplement is interesting. I think he's a horse that's shaping as if he maybe wants a bit further now. At least the ground's in his favour, but an Irish Point as well. Obviously wants further, but I mean he's got a chance on claims like these. So those three are pretty hard to knock out in terms of like reverse tricast and things like that. And I'd expect State Man to win. Irish Point or Iberico Lord will be second and third probably. I did think Lucia was maybe interested in better ground. She's not going to get that though, and she'd have a bit to find. it's interesting to see as Zarek the Brave runs,
Mm-hmm.
because he might have a bit more upside and a bit more to offer. Newman Line could run well. Not so sleepy. He's going to go from the front, probably make it a test, which will suit the likes of Fabrico Lord and Irish Point, but State Man will stay as well. So and it probably suits him. So yeah, State Man's just another level above these. And even if he does kind of underperform, which I think he'll still get away with it.
Yeah, I can't see another State Man win. I think Neiman Line could be interesting to maybe hit the frame. I fully expect Irish Point to be second and maybe test State Man. Can I make it a race? But I just think State Man will have enough pace to win here. I think maybe Neiman Line is an each way play, but it seems to be a fairly cut and dry champion hurdle. Let's move on to the 410, the Mares Hurdle. Lossiemouth has looked fantastic in her start this season. She obviously won the Triumph last year. She's 4-6 to win here, Callum. The only concern that a lot of people have is the trip, but you would imagine just the way she's been performing. I go back to that Dublin Racing Festival where she got beat, where she stayed on after getting into a lot of trouble. You would imagine she's going to be hard to beat here.
Yeah, I think she'll win. I do. I mean, the connections aren't worried about Trip. They're even touting French champion hurdle after this, so I think just kind of more the softly campaign from 4 into 5 that they've been mindful with. More in her camp because I'm not really an Ashrow Diamond fan. I don't think she's that particularly great, and she's clear second favourite. So I think if you're going to go against an odds-on favourite, I think you'd be at least want to warm to the second favourite, and I can't do so. Love Emma could come back, but she's not quite been at her best this year, in my opinion. Marie's Rock as well as a stayer, but again, there's been hints that she's been a little bit on the downgrade as well. But at least she's kind of the staying horse that you might take on speed horse with a little bit. I do like Tell Me Something, girl. I think there is unexposed potential there. I think she would prefer maybe a bit better ground, but she can handle this. And I think she's probably likely to come off a pace and 18-21 bracket. I think that's fine. Echoes and Reigns, solid. But again, there's just been hints a little bit that she might be in the downgrade as well now. And Galmaso's got a lot to prove. And there's a couple others outsiders that might run well on by ground. Hispanic Moons, Lantry Lady, pretty unexposed. You wear it well. It's a bit of a leap for her to come back. But
The one
she
I'm
did
kind
that.
of leaning towards it. Maybe an each way play, maybe if she gets back to what she was. Gallimasso is a fairly big price. She's actually double the price of what I backed her in kind of round about the summer when she won the French champion. I think she was like 8-1 and now she's 20s, so I might go back in each way. But again, I just think the favourite's hard to beat here, and I think everything else is playing for scrap. So we're both firmly in the Lossiemouth camp. Moving on to the 450, the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Hurdle looks an interesting renewal. Very, very difficult to call. A lot of these are fairly unexposed as they usually are. Callum, you've got Milan, Tino, Lark in the Morning, Batman Girax, one I quite like. Liari's in there. Is anything kind of jumped out to you?
No, absolutely anything could win this, really. I mean, they're all very unexposed. They'll all be mapped out for this, probably. Yeah, I can only judge the profiles. I mean, Lark in the Morning, it's kind of Willie Wood to kind of run things. Probably the best well in at the weights and the way he's done things. Valentino dropped £10. Be well handicapped in relation to Sergino, but is he quick enough for this?
Yeah.
I've got doubts. If it was in the new course, I think he'd be all over it. But here, he'd be a little bit unsure. And that was a solid type for Gordon Elliott. Liari as well for Paul Nicholas. I'm a fan of that horse. It's just whether top weight might lumber him a little bit, but they're all quite compressed. Batman Girac drifted out quite notably. He's probably now a reasonable enough price, but is he tractable enough at the moment? I have my doubts. And yeah, there's plenty of others. Ospartier is worth considering. That is very unexposed. If she can get it together, Eagle Fang won that race at Nice. It's a very good pointer for this, and he's at 20s. And Palamon might be a should Paul Nolan move here, and it's an absolute punting minefield. They've been at the moment probably Larkin's a bit short, but I think he's the right favourite. I think Indawi and Liari about 9-1 each of two will probably run their races and be solid each way. Horses, whether they're well enough handicap remains open to question, but I think they're two horses that I can trust in this. Well, there's quite a few that wouldn't, and they're reasonable enough prices in the nines bracket.
Yeah, I'm happy. I've obviously got Batman Girac from earlier on. I'm just going to leave him as well. I wouldn't go back in at the prices. I don't like the drift over the past couple of days. Milantino, I could make the argument. Probably want to see him run well because that would give us an inkling. I think there's two horses in the JP colours that would give us an inkling to Sergino. It's probably Jericho Direpini and Milantino in terms of the kind of where the horse is at in terms of form and condition. Batman Girac, and if Carlos' son was to maybe get in, he's sitting reserve at the moment. He's 24th. I think I need a couple to come out, but if he runs 40 to ones, I'm maybe an each way price on him. But again, probably a minefield. I think you could probably pick in out a hat. Looks an interesting race. Final race on the Tuesday, probably the complete opposite of that, Calum. We've got a National Hunt Chase, Corbett's Cross and Embassy Gardens both sent at 2 to 1. You're in the Salvatore Ziggy camp at 9 to 2. Right, before we get into Salvador Ziggy, I have, like the top two in the market in the Supreme, I have my worries about Corbett's Cross and Embassy Gardens for different reasons. Embassy Gardens, I just don't feel it doesn't scream to me to be a 3 mile 6 horse. Very, very keen last year in the Albert Bartlett. If he settles, might run well, but Corbett's Cross there's been too many dodges for me this season. He's been very, very weird with his jumping. Another one that doesn't seem to me to be a 4 mile, near enough 4 miler. I'm probably leaning towards you with Salvatore Ziggy, Callum. Convince me why Salvatore Ziggy will win this race.
Well, I'll try and get an argument, but I mean, he's been put away for this since October. The American Grand National went wrong. Now, there have been conflicting reports that he bled that, he'd been busting blood vessels, something like that, which would be a bit of a negative, obviously, but he's had enough time to come over that. And he's the highest rate in this race by £4. Corbett's Cross and Embassy Gardens are both wearing hoods. Now, a 3 mile 6 chaser, if he'd settled down with hoods, I mean, that's an instant negative for me. Corbett's Cross has shown pace. All his better runs have been below 3 miles. Yeah, he fell the last day, but he really shouldn't have been in that position anyway. And the way he ran out as well, Albert Bartlett last year, there's a bit of temperament there. You don't want that in 3 mile 6 furlong chase like this. Embassy Gardens absolutely boiled over last year, and it is 1-2 fairly ornery beginners chases with these, but there's going to be horses around him here, and he might blow out again. So these are the type of horses at the Cheltenham Festival where they're both 2 to 1 each pair, where you've got to take them on. Even behind Salvador Ziggy, I mean, Kilbeg King's got place form at Grade 1 level, I think, Kempton. Apple Lee's been primed for a Cheltenham Festival target all year, and there was really strong whispers about her at Ayr on Saturday. The old gold team, they were pretty confident she'd run a career best here, and this is the race I would have went for a long way out. I've said it on her chasing debut. I think she's an absolute cast iron stayer. I'd love to see in the Scottish Grand National, for instance. The ground wouldn't bother her. She's a big price entry. I mean, Henry's friend then won that race at Ascot that Kilbeg King was second, and that's. I mean, it's ropey, but it's British Grade 2 form, and then Mr. Vango, the rogue outside of the law, has won a Devon National by 60 lengths. I mean, they will stay and they'll make it a test, and they will okay. They probably don't have the class of the top two, but it won't come down to class in the running.
No.
It will come down to stamina, and even beyond Salvador Ziggy, I think they've got a lot running for you against the top two in the market. I'd be taking them on. If they win, then so be it at twos. But yeah, Salvador Ziggy leads at the risk, but I wouldn't be letting Apple away going back either, I don't think. But yeah, and then you've got the 1-2 Verasket that Appleway was third in. So yeah, there's plenty to take them on with. I would think, even though it's a 7-runner race and it's a race quite a lot of people crab, I think there's a bit of interest in it this year.
Right, so before we get into Wednesday, Calum, your strongest player of day one, I'm going to go for Chanty, Classical, and the Ultima. Where are you going?
Probably the only strongest player is Salvador Ziggy in the last.
Right, let's move into Wednesday. We've got the declarations through, Calum. We'll start with the Gallagher Novices Hurdle at 1:30. Willie Mullins is 5 of the 8 entries, and he's got the odds-on favourite Ballyburn at 4 to 7. Atlantique's in here, Predators Gold, Handstands, Jingle Blue. Not a great race. Ballyburn's 4 to 7. What do you think?
47's fine. You'll win. There's absolutely nothing here against him. Maybe El Atlantique will run well, but the Predators Gold as well. I mean, they're the two. They're the only two that you can really handstands. Yeah, possibly, but and Jacob will maybe coming back to form a little bit. But this this looks even easier than I thought it would be. Ballyburn, and yeah, I can't quibble with 47. He'll probably race reasonably handy and be too good for them. It'll probably watching him Perry pass Mark 2 again with Mullins in second and third lately. I would think, yeah, he's probably one that a lot of people put in their multis, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I think that's all we need to say on the Gallagher. Let's move into the Brown Advisory. And obviously, Chase will get 6 runners. Another odds-on favourite, Fact to File. He's going to go up against Stay Away Faye, Monty Star, American Mike, Sander Clegane, and Giovinco. Probably the one on Wednesday that I need the most. Calum, Fact to File on at 5s. He's now 10 to 11. Think he's better? Think he's solid at that price, or are you looking elsewhere?
I don't like him here. It's an odds-on shot. It's too short. He's done nothing on the form book to suggest that he should be odds-on favourite. He's just been as if he's the second coming, and it's as if he's already won, to be honest. And I mean, first day, yeah, fairly impressive. He beat Zanahiyr, Manila Kakuran, and Manila Kakuran again. It's bombed out in the Leinster National. Zanahiyr chasing was a very kind of last resort, and yeah, he broke the clock at Leopardstown, but Gaelic Warrior didn't turn up, and that was only Horsey to beat. So I think at the prices now, you have to try and take him on, and Stay Away Faye. Yeah, he's a bit slow, but he's rated 159 now. Horsey's rated that win this race, and he had the other one that was going to be a Gold Cup horse. He was rated 155 the year that they won at top of the game. You've got to go back 10 years since a horse rated 158 or lower hasn't won this race. He's 159. It can become attritional, and if he can get it front, I would have been more confident Broadway Boy held his ground because there would have been more pace there and he would have had something to aim at. But he fended them off in Albert Bartlett from the front. He could try and do the same here again. And you've seen classy horses like Monkfish just bungle their way around here. And if Factive File does that, he will get turned over. Because Monty Star does have good Menelindo vibes as well. Giovinco travelled all the way over Stay Away Faye the last day, and he probably needs to time it with one good run. Whether he's a Cheltenham horse is open to question. So it's small select field, but they can get at him here. Unlike when it was a Monkfish year where he had to beat mid 140s horse at best. He can lumber around and do what you want. Factive will have to be on his game. And I don't think the depth of what he's done justifies him to be odds on. So if Stay Away Faye keeps drifting out to any further, he'd be the alternative for me. I've not nailed it down, but I'm keen to take on Factive File. Okay. If he was 7-1, I'd be all over him.
Yeah, that's the
but
thing.
It's a price. It's a price thing now. He shouldn't be odds on, in my opinion.
Yeah, as a price thing. Was interesting that American might get supplemented as well. I would be interested to see if he could get any kind of. Obviously, Factive File lost him first time out. I still maintain a lot of Willies were needing to run first time out, so I'd be more than confident it would reverse the form. But I think it's an interesting play. I think Factive File probably the banker for me on day 2. We'll move into the Coral Cup. Always an interesting field, Calum. Maybe not as classy this year. I don't think there's a horse rated over 145, which basically makes it a Martin Pipe with an extra furlong. You've got a favourite here who's been well supported in the form of Sam Majest, obviously been thrown in off 140. Are you kind of leaning towards this favourite? Do you think this favourite could be the second coming of Galloping Deschamps, or is this a kind of hype thing?
You get this every year and they're too short and you just leave them alone, in my opinion. And that's what you play. You either believe it or not. And I'm inclined to go against you. You can let them win at that price. It's a 20-odd runner Cheltenham Festival handicap. You're talking 41. Yeah. Pass. Langerdan. I mean, it's where you're at this season, isn't it?
If he wins, I think it'll be probably riots. It'll be fires. It'll be like do you remember the episode of The Simpsons where they're torching Homer's house? That's what it'll be like.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a popular winner, is he? But I mean, he still has a chance. It's built by Ballimore. They normally have 1 year mark for this. There was a form boost at Punchestown, and I didn't think he was that well in off 139 potentially here, but it is stacking up in his favour, and he's probably going to run well, isn't he? They'll know what they have, and if they think this is workable, then that's it. Donny the Great gets in, which is a big surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably parachute to the top of the list because he's really unexposed over these distances. He needs this trip. Cutting the ground is fine for him as well. Again, you'd just be monitoring the kind of Henderson Yard, wouldn't you, in the way that they're kind of going by then. And I've liked First Street for some time as well, coming back up in trip, and he's still reasonably well handicapped in relation to previous efforts. I can see my eye running well as well. He ran pretty well in last year's Martin Pipe, and he's in for a similar mark again, a wee bit lower. And I don't think this is a great Coral Cup either.
No, it's not.
If others would be something wild at a price could come in. So yeah, at the moment, maybe Donny the Great in First Street for the Henderson battalion. But yeah, it's an open race, and I'm certainly not going to commit right now to it.
Yeah, I think it's a very similar. There's nothing really standing out to me. I need to be priced, maybe wait to the day. But again, it's always an interesting renewal. Let's move into the champion chase. El Fabiolo is 1-2. John Bond 7-2. Edward Stone 7-1. 16-1 bar. Calum El Fabiolo. Probably a lot of people's kind of one horse of the weekend. They're excited to see. We spoke about this when they were kind of talking about the Clarence House. How does John Bond beat El Fabiolo? Edward Stone, if they do what they did Kempton or Ascot, whatever it was, could be an interesting race, but you'd expect El Fabiolo, if he keeps on his feet, should have enough here.
Yeah, this is the bank of the week for me. 1-2, I think, Stephen. I think it's fair enough. I mean, I know the nature of the race, but I mean, he should be like 4-11 Duvan prices here, really, in my opinion. John Bond, absolutely shocking run last day. Everything went wrong, and then had a hard race to try and pull out the fire and didn't. He's too often he's disappointed at Cheltenham. I mean, he's not been quite in sync. So I don't see any reason to suggest why you'd have a better performance here. They're going to go out handy, and Edwardson's going to do the same thing, and they're going to just set it up for El Fabio. I think Captain Guinness has got a very good chance of being second as well. Edwardstone, very good the last day, but he didn't back up at Cheltenham last year, and I think it's probably the same story as well this year. And he's 10, and he is exposed here, and he's just going to be. Just think El Fabio's in a completely different league to these, and I think Captain Guinness might be running chilly enough to get second.
Yeah, I probably could see that happening as well. I just don't think John Bond's going to get any closer to El Fabiolo. I think Gavin Lynch made an interesting point. I was watching something. He says El Fabiolo is 1-2, and people are saying the only knock is he's jumping. What price would he be to complete the course? He says 1-10. So why is he 1-2 to 1? Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see him being 1-4, and not being that off-putting. But I mean, the chink in his armour is he's jumping. He's never jumped as badly as John Bond did the last day.
No,
and that's his main market rival.
Yeah,
that's what can he shrug that off and come back to his best? And he's going to be. Yeah, you can let him bowl on, but if you're going to do that with Edelstone as well, you just set it up for him to win by a street probably. It's not as if El Fabio is going to be slow and struggling, and giving him a true pace to aim at will probably suit him as well. So yeah, barring a mishap, and that's the only thing that we worried about. I think El Fabio would win and probably win quite well.
Yeah, probably. Let's move into the cross country. Got a bit of a class angle here. Like Manel Indo, former Gold Cup winners in here at 15-8. Delta Work obviously going for the 3P at 5-2. Cocoa Beach, Galvin's in there. Foxy Jacks, who I was hoping wasn't going to go here, was going to go somewhere else. Callum, this is quite an interesting race. It's going to be heavy ground. Where do you stand here? This is probably one where you just wait to see what the market does for me.
I mean, it's ground, isn't it? So it's between Delta Work and Cocoa Beach. To me, it's simple as that. I mean, Manila Indo and heavy ground, I'd be a bit worried.
Yeah.
Soft, yes, but bottomless. I really don't think classy horses like him in the downgrade want a slog like that. Fat Jack Kennedy's on Delta Work is probably enough of a significance to maybe side with him over Cocoa Beach.
Who rides Cocoa Beach?
Sam Young's on Cocoa Beach. Galvin Ground's probably doing for him. Foxy Jackson go out there and maybe place if he does the same which he did at Cheltenham in November, and maybe go out quick and maybe try and steal kind of the odd 5-6 lengths here. it's hard to see. There's probably too much of a ratings divide there between him. So Tell to work going for the three-peat, but Cocoa Beach is probably danger on the ground, and maybe Manilindo could. You see it time and time again. Where Manilindo might be bang there, and then all of a sudden the heavy ground, it might just take its toll a little bit, and he weakens out of it and he gets outstayed. That'd be my worry about him, particularly prices are 2-1. Delta Work hasn't shown much, but it's the same story with these horses, isn't it? And he's won the last two, and I'd probably lean towards him over Cocoa Beach, but they're the two that I'd be looking at the moment.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar boat. I just don't know about Manilindo over this and this ground. Again, if it kind of dries out any, I
If it
don't
was
think
good,
it.
if it was good to soft, you'd be looking at Manilindo and Galvin.
Yeah,
But the
absolutely.
fact it's soft to heavy means it's got to be Delta Work and Cocoa Beach. So that, at least that's one way of narrowing it down.
Yeah,
Maybe just play a reverse forecast or something like that. I don't
yeah.
know. Manilindo could still win. He might have enough class to defy that, but I don't think he'd want it bottomless. And usually it's a lot softer than anything else. So it's probably going to be a swamp.
Let's move into the Grand Daniel, Callum. Good news. Madara and Calico have both been declared, so we'll both get a run. I don't see any reason to swap. I think Madara's got a good chance. I imagine you'll be in the same boat with yours.
Yeah, I'm quite happy on Calico. Still a reasonable price at 16s. Tristan Durrell's a good claimer that takes three off him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it's a decent race. There's going to be plenty of pace in it. The Folks Tiara getting in is quite interesting, particularly at 25s. I think he might have a squeak at a price. So yeah, Calico will definitely be the main one. There could be a couple that I mean, positive move for Liberty Hunter to go favourite in booking Harry Cobden as well, and he's got good back form that's working out from his January win at Cheltenham. Which is going to be pretty significant. Beating Matata, who's running in the Arkle, is going to be good form. So yeah, and St. Ra coming here, I would rather have seen him in a plate, to be honest. But the last day he jumped really bad. I don't think that was by design.
No.
Even though I think everyone's thinking that it's been an operation get him into a handicap all year. But I would have liked to see a bit better than that the last day. So yeah, hopefully Calico can do it.
Yeah, so we've got two Madara for me and Calico for you. Let's move into the champion bumper, Callum. This is what the champion
Oh.
bumper should be. 13-2 the field, very, very open. Don't think there's anything with a strong opinion. I've got some decent tickets in Jasmine DeVoe from a while ago that I'm just going to leave alone. Patrick's on board. I don't really have a strong opinion in the bumper this year. I've been looking for alternatives, and the Yellow Clay has probably been the talking horse of the preview night circuit. I don't really know if 2 miles is his ball. And I think I might just wait until probably a lot might just wait until the day and see what makes a move. But very, very open race.
Yeah, I have no idea in this, to be honest. Absolutely no idea any of them could win. I think Jalan the Dairy is maybe the right favourite at the moment, given the way the ground's going, and he's a kind of solid overall profile. He's one that I don't think, will be buzzy at the parade ring. He's pretty professional, and on ratings, he's there. Jasmine Devoy looked out of the ordinary on debut, but he's only had one run. Same problem with Romeo Coolio. Tishan as well has probably got a bit to find British form. In the Yellow Clay, it's interesting that the big bumper race at Leopardstown place form, that they're not high on the market, even though ratings suggest that they're probably the ones to be on and they have a bit of experience.
Yeah.
And they look destined to improve from their two efforts as well. So if you were inclined and just go by the ratings, you'd probably play You Ought to Know in the Yellow Clay each way. But I mean, there's others. I mean, a Gentle Boy, say to Chance, Cantico, they could all be anything. 6 Mile Bridge is a decent horse for Ben Pauling. Nicky Henderson rarely runs any in the bumpers, but has a good result in them. Kingston Pride at 33s could be ridiculous. So yeah, it's a race. Tripoli Flyer's a horse I actually quite like as well. Fellow Ryan at 50s. It's a race where the market will tell you more just before the off and leave it as late as possible to me. But at the moment, I'd be inclined to back You Ought to Know in the Yellow Clay. each week, mainly just because of the ratings and the Leopardstown. That Leopardstown bumper is the best form here.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I would say probably. I think the yellow clear like that. He won a bumper very, very well last season. I thought, right, he might be a ballot horse, but he's obviously they've obviously kept him over bumpers. Probably in the same boat. I think if he over further maybe next season, if they go over hurdles, could be a one to watch. But I just don't think he's a champion bumper horse for me. He got, to be fair to him, got himself out of a lot of trouble on at the Dublin Race Festival and finished fourth. He'd probably have been second if things had went his way a bit. So might be a play, but I just think it's one that you maybe wait to the day. Turner's Novices Chase on the Thursday, Callum. We've got Grey Dawning, Ginny's Destiny, Facile Vega, all kind of roughly kind of round about the kind of 5 to 2, 3 to 1 price. Aroko's in there, obviously coming back from injury. Callum, I'm kind of torn between Grey Dawning and Facile Vega here. I think Grey Dawning, both have got their holes. I think Facile Vega's finally going up in trip. We've been screaming for it for a while. Probably between those two for me, I can't have Jenny's Destiny. I just don't think he's good enough to win this sort of race. Iroko, you're taking interest, he's backed himself. Probably a 50-50 grade on in Facile Vega for me here.
Yeah, one going back in trip, one going up in trip. This is a
Yeah,
wrong race for Grey Dawning,
think so.
and I don't think it's a Cheltenham horse. I can't have him. Facile Vega, stay up in trip, good move. Probably the classiest, but again, his jumping technique's still a bit of a worry. And Jimmy's Destiny's now coming out to a reasonable price, but he is solid. He jumped well. I think he's better than Stage Star last year, and this is a weaker race. And if he gets into rhythm up front, I think he's dangerous. I just hope Iroko wins. Great to see him back. I think he's a really good horse for the future, but the market will tell you whether he's going to be there or not. That's the thing. And if he is, I'd just be siding with him, to be honest. Um, yeah, and then if not, I'll be between Facile Vega and Jerry's Destiny. I just don't. This is too short for Grey Dawning, and we get beat Jenny's Destiny. I know he would have won if he had a clear round, but he's just going to do that again, isn't he? That's why I
Possibly,
think.
yeah.
I think
Possibly.
he's just going to clout one, and I don't think Cheltenham's his bag. I think he's better than a flat track. I think he's interested in the Aintree going up trip, for instance. Um, and Facile Vega might have too much class for them, but Jerry's Destiny might be too solid for them, and I think that's the way you've got to decide.
We'll move into the Pertemps final at 210, Callum. Another very open handicap that doesn't scream quality. You like one here. I wanted Mouse Morris to maybe send Foxy Jacks here and hopefully he would have get in. I think he'll be running something like £23 lower than his chase mark, which would have been probably a decent way to go here for me. The one I've maybe come down on, and I've kind of looked through the qualifiers, and I thought Lord Snooty for Christian Williams finished quite well behind Cuthbert Dibble. Probably about 20 to 1 on him. I think he could be a solid each way for me, but I just don't really have a strong opinion on this, Callum. I'm gonna leave to you. I know you've got one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Highland. I wouldn't swap him. So I think his October win was pretty impressive. And he's just been kind of ticking over for this. Um, Third in a big weight afterwards, which was a fine run, and then they dropped him back in trip, but it was totally unsuitable for him at Ascot. I think they just did that to kind of knock the freshness off him because he can be a bit too keen. But I think he can run well. I think it would be drying out by then, and drying ground would suit him. I kind of Chantry House at the top of the market. The other
No,
Henderson runner, but I mean, he's obviously in the downgrade, and you think, oh, he was qualified well at Huntington, but I mean, he hasn't done anything for ages.
can't have
I
anything
mean,
at the top of the market, to be honest. I don't think.
no, I think Geth Cool has a chance. It's just whether she's handicapped out of it now. Cletus Pooler's unexposed, but he's got a big enough height for not winning the last day. Kira Lane, I'm not sure stays it that well. Gabby's Cross is also a bit exposed, but there is a hurling mark to exploit there. Springwell Bay needs better ground, but the Yards form is troubling to me. And the one at the top of the market that I was on would have been White Rhino as well. I think White Rhino has a chance. If he gets in, I presume he will, given all the kind of handicap horses that the last of the declarations for Wednesday seem to get in. And then I think you can just take a few flyers at prices. Highland, I mean, Bold Endeavour's one
Mhm.
that I've liked for quite some time. Is kind of a bit like Third Win when he won it, where he seemed pretty exposed, but he was actually solid enough to actually win. He does have a little bit up his sleeve, and he has form tied in with Crambo, and he's actually not badly weighted on peak efforts this season. So yeah, I mean, those were the two that I was been in the field of Bold Endeavour and Highland mainly, and I didn't like anything sub kind of 12-1 in this. I think this is a good race just to have kind of a couple of flyers in.
Ryanair Chase at 250, Callum. Very open renewal. Banbridge 3-1. Envoy Allen last year's winner 72. Stage Star, Conflated, Capadano, Phil Doa. Callum, I know you're very, very keen on Banbridge, but it's the same caveat we had last year. It depends on what the ground is on Thursday morning. If it's anything like it was last year, he's not going, and therefore it completely changes the concept. Where do you kind of stand now? If Banbridge turns up, do you think it's a good thing?
Yeah, I think he'll win if he turns up. Yeah, I think he's better than these. He's a bit of class. He can hold something back. He's just one of those really good horses that knows how to win and win really effectively. And that doesn't make him flashy, but it makes him a kind of reasonable price each time. Yeah, and I don't think he's as ground dependent as people think they are. I mean, there was plenty of cutting the ground when he won the Martin Pipe. The new course is in better condition than the old course by all accounts in terms of the going stick. It's already kind of approaching good to soft. I think if it is good to soft, I think they'll take their chance anyway. The official was good to soft, Aintree and Kempton. They were fine in that, winning both times that day. And they've just been very patient with him. And yeah, he's still young and unexposed. Anyway, Ireland's now 10. Yeah, he's a very reliable kind of Cheltenham operator, but can he come back to his very best? He's been slightly disappointed down Royal when he get beat, and that's usually kind of his forte. And he's not been seen either since November, which is a bit peculiar for my liking. Stacey pulled up a big handicap. That would have been his target, though. He can go well fresh. You would trust Paul Nicholls to have him back in reasonable form. Capadano, is he quick enough? I don't think so. Conflated, I can't see it myself. I think he's on the downgrade. Unseated the last twice. Back and trip, I don't think it's an obvious plus. A Hoist in York could go well from the front. And Phil Dawes very unexposed at this trip, and he'd be the each way alternative for me.
He's each
Yeah,
way
he's got a bit to find, but he's in form. He's progressing. I think he's just waiting for a career best here. And yeah, 2.5 miles I think has been the plan to unleash that at Cheltenham in some race, in some capacity. He's got good place form in behind El Fabiolo. Over an insufficient trip. I think that's good form. The rest, Fugitive, Gallo, Hitman, yeah, they could hit the frame, but they do have a little bit to find for me. Protectorate, I think's on the way down.
I was talking to a mutual friend of ours in Ayr on Saturday, and he said Protectorate is his nap of the meeting.
Yeah,
I'll tell you off air who it is, but I think you'll have an idea.
We wouldn't be for me. I can see why they're coming back down and trip, and in ratings, raw ratings, he's got a chance, but yeah, not in my radar. It's shaped okay from the front. I mean, they see why they're doing it. I mean, nobody at the Denman Chase, he was quite bold and aggressive and just maybe get backed out of it, but he always keeps running on in races anyway, even though whatever trip it is, and just gets beat. So I just think he'll get found out again. But yeah, Banbridge if he runs, and Phil Dore each way if he doesn't.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same book as you. Let's move into the Stairs Hurdle, Callum. We've got Tia Hooper's going. He's 2-1 favourite. You've got Crambo, Fours, Noble Yates, Flooring Porter, Sir Gerhard, Monkfish potentially home by the Lee as well. Tia Hooper, Callum, it didn't happen last year. Is it going to happen this year?
Road to Redemption, he'll win, and he's the best price favourite all week. This is 2-1. Is unbelievable at the moment. Particularly Irish Point not going.
Jake, he's as ground dependent as Banbridge.
Yeah, I think he wants it in the easy side, but it is soft on the hurdle track slightly. I think he'll get away with good to soft. But it shouldn't, because he does have pace. He's beaten Perry Pass or 2 mile and a half. Okay, and Perry Pass has done nothing to frank that form either. But I just think he's better than these, and putting him away fresh is a good idea. And they must have a lot of confidence in him if they're sending Irish Point to have a crack at the champion hurdle. So yeah, Cramble, is young, improving, but he's got a bit to find. He's not done anything in the 160s yet. For me, which Chiahupu's done. Noble Yates is very quirky and surely too old, and he's got way much more to find here, and it's just a prep for the Grand National anyway. So Gerhard won't stay. Florian Porter coming here is a brilliant pace angle at the race, and that's ideal for Teahupoo if anything else. But he needs to find his best form. Monkfish, who knows? He might even still go Gold Cup route. Basically, Park's surely too long in the tooth. Owned by the Lee has done nothing all season, but is an each way player. But headgear hasn't worked, and he's not showing enough spark in either side of the belly. It's now 12, Champs 12, National Dressers 11. This is redemption day for Teahupoo. I mean, I think Mobile League could run well at price. So back to each way as well, but I'd be disappointed if Teahupoo could make up for last year in a race where he should have won.
You mentioned Paisley Park as too long in the
No.
tooth. He's been second the past 3 starts, Callum. He's 16-1.
I've backed him as well, but he's just going to bump into one again here.
But I think 16-1's a fair each way bet. I don't think he'll win.
Hit the frame, possibly,
I think 16-1 or even without
even that consistent place form. I mean, it's in Britain where he's not beaten much.
Yeah.
To do that, it's like it's low to mid 150 stuff at best. I just don't see anything with potential that can get to that level that isn't Teahupoo. That's my thing. I think it's not an obvious class edge, but there is a bit one there, and yeah, I think it should be 5-4 or something like that.
We'll move into the Trust of Trader Plate at 410, Callum. The favourite's Cribilli, who I've got at 9-1. Hoping he runs well. Wouldn't get back in at 7-2, though, and especially as you say, the Neil Yard are not in good form. There's been a lot of talk regarding Theatre Man at 5-1. You've got Let's Be Clear about it. Anything for the Plate?
I mean, Harry Corbin booked again. It's probably a positive. I think shaking up Harry's not bad each way. He was third in it last year. He absolutely hacked up at Cheltenham when he did a few things with his wind. A £3 rise for that is incredibly lenient. Ben Pollingard in good form. They can map one out. I thought him at 16s, he's 10, but they have found the key to him of late, and he ran really, really well in it last year. I don't think there's much difference to this year's race than last year's race. So him each way at 16s was where I was going in it. Yeah, I think he can run well and get in the money.
Yeah, very interesting. I think it's probably a race that I think Cribilli, I'm sitting in a ticket. I'll just keep until the day. Mayor's Novice Hurdle at 450, Callum. Interesting renewal. Brighter days ahead. The golden horse of the Elliott Yard. Jade de Grugy at 2-1 for Mullins. Dysart Enos is 7-2. Golden Ace is in there at 10-1. Where do you kind of stand with the top of the market, the Mayor's Novice?
Got 3 very good mares at the top of it. The penalty given Dysart Enos maybe more of a chance than the market does. Brighter's Day is ahead. They think the world of her. I think probably Apple's Jade Mould. It's whether if it dries out a little bit, she can be caught out for pace. I'm marginally leaning towards Jade de Grugy, but it's not a strong opinion yet, and that could change by come the day. But yeah, it's hard to say anything else really outside of that running into anything. Yeah, I just hope the top 3 mares can actually deliver a really good race, and hopefully it will be. I think Jade de Grugy just shades it for me. I think she might have a bit more kind of tactical speed for brighter days ahead. Dysart Enos' pace, whether she's got enough class like the top 2 the Irish do, and she hasn't really raced against much substance. You can argue neither Jade de Grugy and Brighter Days ahead have either, but I'm just leaning towards Jade de Grugy slightly.
Yeah, I think it is between the top 3. I do have one at a flyer if one of them is to blow out. I think Casa Nomento for the Twiston Davis team could potentially be maybe the best of the rest at 40-1. She's got good form at the start of this season where she won a really nice race and then finished second behind Queen's Gamble. I think that's not bad form. I think she's probably worth a wee punt at 40-1, just if one of the, or even 2 of the top 3 blow out, which again, we've seen battles before. can happen. I think 40-1 will maybe play her each way, but probably leave it as late as possible to see. I think if the Mullins team are in good, I fully expect the Mullins team to be in far better form than the Elliott team. I think Jade de Gruge will go favourite.
No.
I think so.
I don't think they will. I think this mare, the talk around this mare,
Mm.
and she certainly
Just
set a
depends
camp.
what it depends what I think it all depends on what the Mullins team do. If the Mullins team are having a good week up to that point, I would be surprised if they're not very, very even in the market, or if even Jade de Gruge is ahead.
Yeah,
But
it could be close. I think ground is a bit more concerned about the favourite than stable form for me. I would think, if it was good, if it's becoming good ground, even Dysarinos becomes. I think that's kind of key to her, and if there's good in it, I think she's got more and more of a chance. And I think Jade de Gruge will handle it better than the Brighter Stay Ahead at the trip. But yeah, they're all very exciting or exposed horses, and wouldn't be surprised if any of them won.
let's move into the final race on the Thursday, the 5:30, the Kim Muir Challenge Cup. Very short price favourite, and I know the way you're thinking for Gavin Cromwell at 3-1. You've got Angels Dawn, Cool Survivors in there, Whacker Clan. Interesting race, Callum. I don't like a 3-1 favourite in a Kim Muir. I might be well handicapped, but I'm not touching a 3-1 favourite in that race.
No, for me, it's like Cribilio. I mean, you've got to take these horses on now. I mean, anything sub kind of 5-1 is ridiculously short in a race like this, and he's going up and trip. He's looked fairly pacey, in his back form. I mean, you wouldn't say that he's screaming for 3/4 miles around the new course at Cheltenham yet. Cool Survivor does look like a horse that wants a trip. Does fit the kind of typical Gordon Elliott unexposed bill for this. I think he's pretty similar to a Milan native in that regard, in the way he kind of goes about things. Angel's Dawn isn't out of it either. I mean, and last year's winner, consistent, backed it up. At least we know we can handle the trip in attritional ground. If it dries up, am I right? We'll have a chance. But that's all key. Whacker Clan could run well as well. I would think it's just whether he's going to be well enough handicapped. And I do like the moving bow to greatness. I think he backed off the last couple at Kempton. I don't really understand why, but he's been left unmoved for that. He is a sign of a good kind of well handicapped horse. He would like a kind of stiffer test. I think he'll find the hill to his liking. Jack Andrews is already booked, and again, like shaking up Parry for the same yard, same ownership, in that 1460-1 bracket. I think he can run. He could run pretty well.
Yeah, interesting. So we'll move into the Friday. Callum, I'm not going to lie, on Saturday night I had a wee bit of a knacker peavy, as my old gran would have said, when there was news coming through on Twitter that Sergino was out to sixes on the exchange, and I just felt it was only a matter of time before we seen that piece of paper that would say Sergino was out. But Nicky Henderson has confirmed the horse is in good order. He's out to even money. I wouldn't go back in, but I would probably say in terms of this week, in terms of what I've got on him, I think this is the one and I want to win the most. But there are a bit more doubts in your mind than there was maybe this time last week.
Yeah, I mean, he was stupidly short anyway, wasn't he? 8-13, 4-6. It's daft. They're trying to follow fair. A lot of these horses we don't know they're anywhere near their ceiling yet. There have been rumours that he's missed 10 days in his back and things like that. He's been in his box and stuff. It just seems to happen to Nicky Henderson more than anybody else, doesn't it? It's quite peculiar. Yeah, it's one of those which I didn't monitor too much, and I did think it was probably rubbish anyway. But it doesn't take as much to move horses in the exchanges as it used to. Liquidity wise, it's not great. It's just whether any of these Mullins battalions can improve as much as Sergino did from his first run to their second run. Malshwara could. I mean, I think they're expecting a little bit more from him at Leopardstown, but at a high profile. But being third in a Grade One like that on your first start is a good performance. I think he's an exciting one for the future. It's definitely a big chaser down the line. A horse we haven't seen over here, Salvador Monday 6-1. That's ridiculous in itself.
Heard a lot about him though.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. There's too much hearsay about these races and not enough form. Just run them rather than the rumour mill in the stable.
Am I right in saying he's owned by the Donnellys as well?
Yeah, he's owned by the Donnellys as well. Yeah, you just think I'll just run him here and then keep him his novice status for next year. and maybe giving him a bit of kind of match practice and a little bit of a sight. They've done that before, like LIT Thompson of the world and things like that. So I'd be pretty surprised if he won this. I can see him shaping with plenty of promise. Cargies won the last day and is going out to a reasonable price at sevens. 71 for a Grade 1 Willie Mullins, whereas isn't bad a triumph, I would say. It'd be interesting who Paul Townend rides. Will he keep the faith with like a Storm Heart, or will he have to ride like a Salvador Monday and things
I'll
like
be
that?
amazed if he doesn't ride Salvador Monday.
I'd be amazed if he did.
I just think there's the talk in the yard.
Talking hard for him is for next season, surely though. That's the thing here. How can your stable number one ride a horse that you've not seen all season in a Triumph hurdle? It is mental, but no, not in Willie Mullins' world. But it is absolutely crazy. And the outsider looking into me, I think he might keep the faith with Stormheart.
Think so?
He was posted wide. He was posted wide at Leopardstown. He got a bad trip. He was still second. He was really well fancied in the market, and I don't think he did himself too many injustices there. If it's bottomless, Bunting would have a chance off the pace. He was never put into the race last time. Nürburgring, I doubt he's good enough, but he's solid. And Ethical Diamond was never put in the race.
No.
Um,
That's one
and,
for next season.
and he's coming back. Well, I don't know. You'd have thought he won for handicaps this season, but he didn't get another run into him. And he might cause an upset. So I can see if people are nibbling away at that. And Salvair, if the ground's bad, becomes a player. We've not seen Mighty Bandit yet, but he's still in the picture. So yeah, it's one of those where if you're brave enough, Sergino should win. But at the prices, there's plenty of alternatives running for you against him. I quite like Bunting. I doubt he's quick enough, but I think there's a horse in there somewhere. But yeah, it's a race that I'm avoiding at the moment.
Yeah, and it's full on the Sergino train for me. Let's move into the county hurdle. Always an interesting renewal, always a fast-paced handicap. King of Kingsfield leads the market 6-1. You've got a load of sod for the Skeltons. Pied Piper 8-1. One I've come down on. I'm not. This isn't a full going back on type of thing, but it's very, very rare that you've got a winner of a flat handicap shaping up quite well. I think Absurd at 10-1 could be an interesting play here.
Yeah, if the ground dries out for him, he can be seen to a lot better effect here. He's been to Melbourne.
Yep.
Ran pretty well.
I thought he ran well, yeah.
He was seventh. Ran a lot better than Vauban did. And yeah, he could run well. I can't have King of Kingsfield's favourite. I know he might have a decent mark, but it will suit him, his running style. But
he's probably got better Grade 1 form than half the horses in the Supreme.
Yeah, I think he'd be about eights maybe for a Supreme, something like that. Yeah, he could have went there. The fact of come here is interesting, and the race will suit him. Load of sud, money for him coming in. Is he the skeleton horse for this year?
Yeah.
Him and Willie Mullins have plundered this quite regularly. I quite like last year's second Pied Piper.
Okay.
They're going to claim with Danny Gilligan. He was second at last year. He was second at Cesarewitz. Yes, he gets second a little bit too often, but Davy Russell was in his last legs riding him, and he absolutely breezed into it. Touched off by Fivar, but he's a really kind of classy horse that can defy top rates. We've seen this race before in Arctic Fire of the world, can defy these kind of weights, and he'll be a bit lower actually this time around if they do put Danny Gilligan on as a claimer. And I think that's the plan, and this has been the plan for some time. And even soft ground, he was fine on it. I think he actually appreciates a bit of better ground. So yeah, him for me, Magical's always interesting because I think this is a better bet than the mares. It's just who's going to ride, and things like that, and trying to map out things. So he can maybe see a couple outsiders running quite well in it as well, but you can kind of wait and see that. But Pied Piper for me near the top of the market.
Okay, let's move into the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. Calum, you mentioned something interesting regarding the Triumph Hurdle, that Willie Mullins jockey bookings will be interesting. I think it's a very similar story here. Reading Tommy Wrong 9-2, Dancing City 5-1. I really obviously have a lot of stock in High Class Hero, but I think it's going to be Patrick Mullins that's in board High Class Hero, and that doesn't fill me with confidence.
No, it seems to be Reading Tommy Wrong's going to be.
I'd imagine Townend.
It'd be Paul Townend and Dancing City, Danny Mullins.
Yep.
That's the way it's going to work. I mean, High Class Hero does. He's winning. He'll just the other two have maybe more substance to their form, particularly graded company. That's the kind of thing that's going to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think he's going to stay. and you don't know where High Class Heroes ceiling genuinely is. He won that race at Thurles. It's a good pointer to this usually. But I mean, there's class out of the British Challenge. Isn't bad here
A
either.
really
Gidley
good
Park,
race.
Shannon
It's
Bob,
actually a good race.
Captain Teague. This is the best novice hurdle,
Yeah.
in my opinion, the whole week. It's the Albert Bartlett. So there's a real depth to it. I do like Croke Park tapping away, see if Jack Kenny's on board and things like that. That price will come in 25s. I'm hopeful he can run well. Shag Bob will probably run well again. He might be of interest if whatever you are with the kind of the Henderson Yard form and things like Gidley Park. I'd rather have seen him run in the Gallagher than here. I think maybe this is maybe a bit too much too soon for him. He might be one to keep an eye on next year. Captain Teague might be battle hard enough to run really well. I think he's going out to about tens. I think it's a fairly reasonable price. Drying ground might actually help him over this trip. So yeah, you can make a case for many of these. It's difficult. I'll definitely be back in Croke Park though, and I'll have to take one of the market leaders closer to the time. Maybe Dancing City, maybe that Nathaniel Lace is a bit better than shown, and he's had this kind of really back classy bumper form, isn't he, where he split some really good horses, and I don't think any of the other ones were able to do that. So maybe he's just fulfilling his potential later, and he can be a big improver.
I'm going to stick with High Class Hero, even though the jockey booking gives me the fear. But I think Search for Glory at 25 to 1, similar colours to Croke Park. I think he's quite overpriced at 25s. He's obviously having to come back for a bad run, but the Elliott team usually there's usually horses
They
that can come
usually have
back.
one.
They
They
usually have
usually have a
one.
good one. And Croke Park was the one that ran the laws of the race, and he was beating these horses quite regularly. He was their number one from a long way out. Jack Kennedy said at the Dublin Racing Festival that he still was the number one ahead of Their Story Search for Glory, my trump card and things like that. So they do think he's a better horse, and it's just whether, like Firefox, when he get bombed out a little bit in laws and I mean, I think he was a stay in the field, and Firefox was their pace horse in it. One's 92 for a Supreme, the other's 25 to 1 for Albert Bartlett. It's a bit of an odd discrepancy.
I think the one thing with Search for Glory that is that you will see like the first kind of quarter mile of the race, you'll see he'll probably be behind the pace. Maybe need the one that will come for beyond. I mean, ran okay last year and it to a certain point where he pulled up. He obviously pulled up, but I think last year was a very different race. I don't think it'll be as quick as it was last year. So I'm going to go maybe play him at 25 to 1, but full on the High Class Hero train. And hopefully Patrick shows his worth as a jockey. Let's move into the big race, the Gold Cup. 3:30, Galloping Deschamps going for two in a row. Calum, he's 5 to 4. Going with, or are you looking at something else?
It's $1 million question. And again, it's a bit like the Sergino debate of yes, this is probably the best horse in the race, but there is depth to this. I mean, fast or slow, Shishkin, Jerry Colombe, Long Press, Freedman's Game, Hewitt, Corrick Rambler, Gentleman's Game. There's something to recommend all of those horses in their own way. And taking Carpenter shot on it might be harder to kind of pick one out. But stealth by numbers there, you've got a lot of classy horses that he's got to repel. It's a better running than it is last year. He went off 75 that year. I think he could go. He could even go out to 13 to 8. He has been steadily drifting all week. Not dramatically, not discouragingly, but he's just a bit like Sergina. I just think he's going out to a realistic price. It reflects the depth of the race. Master Slow out jumped him the last day and didn't really get near it, but a big field scenario might suit him a little bit more, and he can actually use his jump as an asset and actually make ground, because he was making ground and then DJ Slim was reeling him in constantly, trying like maybe if one late go, helping to show him it all became a bit tactical, even though it was reasonably run. But if Captain Deschamps runs at Christmas like he did, it's probably game over. And I think he'll race a little bit handily than he did last year, and he'll probably be shown to good effect. Yeah, the two that I think Fastest was short enough to try. He's always one, but I just think he's a little bit short enough to try and turn that form. And 5 to 1. I don't want to be buying horses each way 92 5 to 1. I know people sometimes do. It's each way thing to nothing. I just think there's a lot in behind there that could run well. Shishkin being one, but he's hard to trust, and I think he might get left behind here possibly. Jerry Colombe, I think this will suit him quite well. It's just whether he's good enough. I mean, last year's novices aren't quite reaching the heights that you thought they might. Leopardstown was, I think, it was probably kind of forgivable. It's a track he's not been at before. He's not seen. He might be a better kind of horse in the spring. Yeah, he's a stayer out of it that if they maybe do overdo it, he could benefit because that last day was probably a little bit too bad to be true for him. Long Press, don't think he's got enough class really, in my opinion. Hugh as well, I think he's had his day in the King George. I'd be pretty surprised if he won this, but better ground. He did shape as if a Gold Cup trip would suit the way he finished. Just think without the favourite, Brave Man's Game's 8-1.
Yep.
And each way without the favourite, I think he's an obvious shout. I mean, they've just messed up with him in the first half of the season.
If he runs to the form of last year, I think he'll be second again.
Well, I mean, it's saying that maybe third or fourth. I mean,
Yeah,
he's 8-1 each way without the favourite. I think that's the bet of the race at the moment. I really do. I think he's going to be in the conversation. So yeah, I would. He's the only bet I've found at the moment. 8-1 without the favourite because I think he's reliable enough. I think winning might be a bit of a stretch, and obviously, but I think he can beat the others. I think he shaped pretty well at Kempton, despite having a very bad preparation for it. And he was rallying when he got hampered. He fended off Allaho and just got run down late of Hewitt. Yeah, Shishkin was probably going to win it anyway, but he's still 9. There's plenty of upside. He's been here before and been second, but he saw it out. He saw it out okay. I just think he's going to jump probably better than most of these, travel kinder than most of these, and he's the one because he's got obviously Gold Cup form in behind Galopin Deschamps. He's a value in the without the favourite market because he's got that direct big form line with the favourite. Now, if you think the favourite's a really good thing that will go out and win, then without him in the picture, then yeah, Brave Man's Game. I just think there's more upside to him in the without the favourite market than most others, and he's a reasonable price. So yeah, 8-1 each way without the favourite Brave Man's Game. I think it's the bet in the race, but it's a very tough one to assess. I think Jerry Colombe will run well. I think he'll run a career best. Whether he's good enough, I've got my doubts, but I do expect him to run well in this.
Yeah, Brave Man's Game was kind of my each way playing the race. I've also, if it was to turn into an attritional Gold Cup and it turned into a bit of a slog, I think Nassalam's overpriced at 33-1 to, but again, you're relying on it being a completely slog of a Gold Cup.
Needs to be unraceable, doesn't it?
I don't think it will be, but if it was to turn, then it might be worth a wee play at 33-1. But don't back him unless you hear the word heavy in the ground. But yeah, I don't like batting 5 to 4 shots, especially in a Gold Cup. But I think even if he runs to the form of February, he probably wins here. I think Tristan's hard to trust. I think Fast or Slow. I think Fast or Slow would be better going to Ryanair, to be honest. I see why they're taking a chance to Gold Cup. I just don't think
I think he'll be fine here.
he's going to reverse it with Galopin Deschamps.
I think he's got a chance. It's just if you doubts in the back of your head, he's a horse that's beaten Galopin Deschamps, last twice. So therefore he kind of has to be second favourite. But that's Punchestown handed in. I mean, look, he ran pretty well in the Gold Cup. He probably justifiably is second favourite, but I would rather back Brave Man's Game to beat Fast or Slow without the favourite in the market rather than backing Fast or Slow 5-1 try to beat Galopin Deschamps.
I think that's
that's a big kind of betting in there because I don't think Brave Man's Game will win the Gold Cup purely because of the favourite.
No.
That's why, and if you take him out of the picture, you're only taking half the price, but you're taking him out of the picture. I think that's a really good bet because I think he's the most reliable to be in the first 4 with the favourite in there. And if you take him out, then he's going to be top 3 in my opinion. So yeah, he's a kind of way to weirdly attack it. And if Galopin Deschamps does go out to maybe like a 6-4 or something like that, 13-8, you might be tempted to go in with him because the vibes seem to be good, but he's just going out to a kind of more reasonable price now because everyone's identifying the depth to this race.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's move on to final three races to talk about. Then we'll get our best bets in each ways of the festival. 4:10, we've got the Hunter's Chase. It's on the line. Another talking horse bought by JP McManus, 5-2. Fairslock 11-4. You've got Ballaway, last year's winner, Premier Magic, who I quite like here. I think 7-1. He's quite overpriced. He's won two really impressive point to points this season. Was very good in it last year, and I think at 7-1, I think he's a better bet than the top two.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's between the last year's top two, probably. I think Fernlock's more of an entry type.
Yeah,
It's on the line. A really hard race last day and fending off Billoway, who's coming quite late. Obviously, he's a year older now, he's 7, so he should be a bit more experienced and a bit more upside. And this horse Premier Magic's done quite well. You know, he's won his points in minimal fuss. He's coming in here in decent form, and he's potentially being overlooked. There's one, saying No Mine might be one that could come out
yeah,
the woodwork a little bit. Ran quite well in Weatherby winning. That was a pretty convincing performance. He's a decent enough steer. Yeah, he lacks maybe a bit of experience, but it's one of those where you'd probably just double check the bookings. I think it's Unless probably just about favourite because he's got more upside and potential to improve than a Premier Magic does. But you can't fault, that the string of ones beside his name, the defending champions. So yeah, those are probably the two to focus on. Seeing No Mind might be a springer, but yeah, it's a weird race because there's not a lot turning up. It's a
no.
big kind of cavalry chance, but there's not a lot in the entry phase.
Mare's Chase at 450. Dino Blue, even money to win the race. She's been very good. She's won a grade one over 2 miles. Very similar to Lossiemouth, though. Probably the only thing in your back of your mind is she going to stay the trip? And I think if she stays the trip, Callum, she'll win.
I think she probably will. Yeah, and she's a horse I've been kind of looking to try and take on in this whole season, and I just can't quite find it. Again, it's when you're taking these horses on, you've got to really not really like second favourite, and I just don't like Allegor de
No.
Rivasi. Well, I know that she came back to form a little bit and might be coming into form this spring, but that recent race that she won, the Opera Hat, it just totally fell apart really in her favour. Um, Ran deplorably at Fairyhouse the day before that, and she get outstayed ultimately by Impervious. So I mean, she's not the strongest stayer at this trip. Dana Blue's got it to improve. Pedigree shouldn't be a problem. And shaped at Leopardstown behind El Fabiolo as if going up would be a plus. Made a mistake in last year's Grand Annual again, where I think she was maybe going a bit quicker than she wanted to. The trip might actually bring out more improvement, and I think she's well clear of the rest of them anyway. One of the Gavin Cromwell two will run well. Limerick Lace will run well if it's soft. Bryce Hill will run well if it's good. The rest I don't think are good enough. River to tell, but it's going the wrong way around. And Instant is the odd big race in her, but you'd be surprised if it was here. Pink Legends, it's run terribly the last twice and might have had enough. So yeah, I think now she's coming in a little bit odds against. I think Dino Blues is no bad thing. I think she might actually be the Friday banker.
Yeah, Dino Blue for me. Final race, 5:30. We've got the Martin Pipe, conditional jockeys, handicap, hurdle Callum. Another strong Willie Mullins favourite, K de Bourbon, 7-2. There's a few interesting contenders behind, though. You've got Waterford Whispers, been getting a lot of traction. No Ordinary Joe for the Henderson team. I like the favourite. I think the favourite's been earmarked for this. I would imagine Michael Sullivan will be on board. And I think the favourite is hard to beat, but I'm open to anything you've got for me that you might be able to change my mind.
I was warming to him more than Sam Jest, and the fact he's gone there makes him probably more of a good thing than anything. Out of the big favourites in the handicaps, I think this is the one that you'd be
Yeah.
worried about the most. And you might row in because it's just full of unexposed kind of types like that, and his profile it just catches the eye a little bit more. Waterford Whispers, yeah, to have a chance, good back form, classy, is going to looks like he's definitely going to get in as well. No Ornery Joe's been mapped out for this probably for some time, second in it last year. better days ahead. Is he quite this type? I think he might lack a gear or two for this. And Cantabruno's interesting if he gets his decent ground. He does need decent ground though. And Answer to Cave has been well touted as well. So there's always going to be a few to consider. Shambally Kid's one I think he's going to Coral Cup.
Mm-hmm.
This intermediate trip's a good move for. Might be interesting. Castle de Mottes as well is kind of one that look like needing a step up in trip after being beaten favourite in the Betfair hurdle. So yeah, an interesting option. But I think the favourite here merits plenty of respect, and 4-1 right now might not be too bad.
No, I'd be fairly happy if that was probably my strongest. Probably that and Dino Blue are probably my two ones on the final two races. I would say that Sergino, that would be a good day. If Sergino High Class Hero, Dino Blue and K de Bourbon, I think it would be time to maybe retire. But we'll see what
I
happens.
don't think that wouldn't be too good for me, I don't think.
Right, we've done all 28 races, Callum. Before we wrap up the show and wrap up before the festival starts, let's just get a best bet, a lay, and an each way. We'll start with your best bet, your nap of the meeting.
See who Stairs Hurdle.
I'm going to go for Fact to File and the Brown Advisory. So I think I might be knowing where you're going here. What's your lay of the meeting?
Julie, Embassy Gardens, and Corbett's Cross.
Yep, I was going to lean towards Embassy Gardens and Corbett's Cross. The other one I had in my mind, I'll go for something different. I had Ginny's Destiny in my mind. I'm going to go for Ginny's Destiny as my lay of the meeting. And your best each way pick, Callum. Give us something out there that the punters can get behind a decent price.
Calico and the Grand Annual.
Calico. I'm going to go for. I'm going to go and I'm going to. Ooh. Whacker Clan in the Kimmuir. That's the one I'm going to lean towards here. I didn't mention in the Kimmuir, but yeah, now's the chance. Whacker Clan in the Kimmuir is my each way of the meeting. I saved it for this. Callum, have a great festival. Thank you very much as always for joining me, and best of luck.
Yeah, definitely. No, best of luck to anyone that's getting involved. Hopefully, can make a few quid out of it. And yeah, just be patient. There's a lot of races and a lot of opportunity out there. And don't need to play them all. If you don't like a race, you can leave it alone and watch it in your Tods. So yeah, there's plenty of angles and very exciting times now. Just can't wait for it to finally begin.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck to everyone, folks. Please gamble responsibly. Enjoy your week, and we will see you all soon. Thank you very much indeed.